This episode of the SwitchCast is produced by Federico De Obeso, our honored Patreon backer, and Switch Night.
Hi everybody, I'm KC.
And I'm Ori.
And this is the SwitchCast, the podcast for the Nintendo Switch archaeologian. And we have a special episode for everybody today because JV's gone! Woo! Or cry, depending on how much of a fan you are. No.
Nah, I'm better than him anyway.
Yeah. JV's on vacation, and I've been graced by a good old friend of ours, original me on the chat, but we call him Ori for short. Say hello to everybody, Ori.
Hello.
You and I are, you are one of our long-standing patrons, even since before we were the SwitchCast, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. You and I go way back at this point, back to our Final Fantasy 14 days.
Yes. So that was when Final Fantasy 14 wasn't yet out. And we were members of a guild waiting for it to come out for about a year. And even then, it only came on a computer, but I hung around the guild just waiting for it to come to PlayStation 3. And that's how we knew each other from.
And let's be real, we had more fun waiting for it than that original release.
It really was. It really was like such a great, anxious kind of like anticipation for that thing. And just planning our characters or learning all the little details for it. We had a lot of hype for that there, and I'm still holding out hope there's a chance a game like that might come out for the Switch. Actually, in a little bit of weird mobile gaming news, I did pick up some final word that Final Fantasy 11 might finally be announced for mobile this December. There's some event going on. They're going to have like a big press event at one of the conventions, and they're hinting heavily that this might be the time they give confirmation of its release, or possibly even release that day. Who knows? Fingers crossed.
We'll see. I'm just glad that the Switch didn't die out after all the hype like Final Fantasy 14 did originally.
That's true. We had that whole big thing where it came out first and it was not good, and then it took about a year and a half before they gave it to somebody else to reinvent the game.
Yep. And then it got really good, and I played it for probably about a year and a half, and moved on with my life.
Yeah, you know what? It was, still, I put that down as my favorite MMO of all time right now. It had the most story. I felt like when I beat the main storyline of it, I felt like it beat an actual RPG, and I was happy didn't feel like I was just leaving a character behind and wasted monthly fees.
I can agree with that, but this is not the Let's Talk About Final Fantasy podcast. I believe we have something more important to talk about this week.
Oh, yes. The Nintendo Switch, I guess we'll talk about. This is a Nintendo Switch podcast. Though, tangentially, I do want to say, this Friday, or tomorrow, if you're listening to this when it's first posted, Let's Go Pokemon games coming out this week. And that's inspired a lot of us to delve into some actual Pokemon Go play. I believe you said you picked it up again, too?
Yep, and I even got the wife playing again. She's into it. Did our first raid battle last week, getting into the research stuff. It's changed a lot since the last time we played. Really enjoying it. Really getting us hyped for the special release this Friday, which, of course, I have pre-downloaded, and the wife has pre-ordered the physical copy of hers, so looking forward to it. Always a good new adventure there. That's
cool. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, would you consider Pokemon Go, first off, an MMORPG? Would you consider that like that style of game, or is it just its own, the AR-ness of it separates it from that genre?
I think it's getting closer. I don't think it's a traditional MMO, but with the raid battles and the co-op gym battles and the trading, I think it's definitely getting closer, but not yet today. I'm excited to see where they go with it, though. It's definitely improved a lot since about a year and a half ago when we first stopped playing.
Yeah. I mean, so what made you pick it up again? Is it because of Let's Go that you decided to start playing it again with the missus?
Yeah, I was getting the hype around it. I sit next to a Pokestop at my office today, So I decided, let's just reinstall the game. Let's see where it's at. You know, this whole trading between Let's Go and Go has got me kind of excited. And then I got into it and started looking at it, and I got her back into it. And then we spent the next Friday night going out of our way to go hit Pokestops and do raid battles and gym battles to reclaim all our old spots.
Which city do you guys live in again?
So we live in Fresno, California. So we're not in the largest area, but it works.
So how big are the Pokestops there? Or how often do you find gyms and all that? Are they pretty densely packed, or do you have to do a little, walking to get to each one?
So we actually have to drive to get to the closest gym.
Wow, okay.
We live on the outskirts, but once you're actually in city, they're pretty much everywhere. There's a lot of spots you can go. So if we're out on date night or meeting some friends, we'll pull out our phone and take a look around. And once our friends go home, we'll walk around whatever outlet mall or area that we're in and collect all the Pokestops and go see if we can take a couple gyms over.
I was very disappointed when I was on my vacation the other week. I was in Barbados. Apparently the entire country is devoid of Pokestops. I found one stop in the entire country as I travel. I was only checking from different Wi-Fi points because I wasn't, using data there. But still, everywhere every restaurant I went to, every hotel we stayed at, I couldn't see a single stop off the horizon. And it was like, I go to these places 10% to catch, region exclusive Pokemon. And nothing.
And
waste of a trip.
And instead, you lost all your daily streaks.
Yeah, they did that too. And they even have it's like I said, there was a new regional exclusive just recently released. I think Carnivine is available there, and it's only south of certain meridians and stuff like that. But anyway, I am spoiled here though. We are pretty well known here in New York for having so many Pokestops everywhere you go and gyms all over the place. If I walk outside, I can see 6 gyms from my front door, and it's just if I have my Pokemon Go Plus going, I can just rack up all the Pokeballs I need just by walking. So it's we're very spoiled here in that regards.
Yeah, I remember when you first started playing, you sent me a picture with Dragonites on every gym around you, and I was really jealous because I still don't even have a Dragonite.
Oh, see, that was yes, that's right. Yes, all of the gyms were back when that was the only thing worth really defending gyms with. And you didn't have a limit on how many of the same species could guard a gym, so it would be 6 Dragonites per gym. It's a wild time back then.
So I am going to call you out like you called out JV. Have you accepted my friend request yet?
Oh, I did not yet. I haven't turned it on. I got home and I just got... But, I gave you my code. I will accept it, and I will send you the gifts, and it's pretty fun. I'm looking forward though to Let's Go because I'm definitely gonna be transferring. I've been saving a few Pokemon specifically because I want to have them on my team in Let's Go games. And some Pokemon I have a special kind of relation with because I've caught them in special places on vacations or maybe at a certain time or on a certain birthday or just, something I caught really early on that's just been with me for a long time. And to bring them in that game is going to be it's going to be pretty nice. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that translates over. So
yeah.
Speaking of Let's Go, have you watched any of the gameplay trailers, or are you trying to go into it kind of like I am, spoiler free as much as possible?
I'm going in fairly fresh. I mean, I'm going to go into it as much as I can. I'll start looking stuff up once I'm getting into it, and maybe because I want to be able to cover as much as I can in the 1 week I will be have to play it before next week's podcast. Just to give people a heads up, next week we are going to be talking focused on Let's Go games, and we have a special guest on for that as well, as JV's still off in exploring the world. But I'm going in fairly fresh. I just know that it's heavily based on the original Kanto region, and I know Jesse and James are going to show up, and other than that, I'm not. Oh, and I think I saw the video of the Elite Four, so I know that they've been kind of updated, but they're still there. It's like the classic Elite Four.
Yep. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the return to Kanto for sure.
Yeah, it's that alone has got a lot of people hyped to play it. A lot of people, that's all they want to play, and it's fine. That's what this game's targeting. I think it's really trying to get the casual fans to take that step halfway into like the serious play fans, you know?
And I'm really just hoping that it gets it up enough where we get a Gen 2, because Gen 2 is my spot.
Yeah. One last Pokemon thing before we go into the main run to the show here. Did you watch that Pokemon trailer for Detective Pikachu?
I did. I watched it in both English and German, because apparently the German Pikachu is really creepy sounding.
Wir reden, hören aber nur Pika, Pika.
Sie kann ihn doch hören, oder?
Pika, Pika!
Ja, Pika, Pika, Pika. Er ist zauberhaft.
Du bist zauberhaft. Die verstehen mich nicht, Junge.
Oh, I gotta see. I'll try that, because honestly, still in my head, I'm definitely of the opinion that Danny DeVito petition to get him was spot on, and it would have been amazing. Ryan Reynolds, all right, he's, you know, I can see where it's coming from, but his voice is, it's right now, it's Deadpool. It's too distinctly Deadpool that it feels almost like not quite a fit, even though it is kind of an edgier, like they're making a little bit of, not quite off color jokes, but they're being a little elusive about that sort of thing. So I still think Danny DeVito was just perfect. So
short, tubby, that voice. Yeah, it works.
Oh, botched, though. I botched that one. Oh, that's a botched job.
But all the same, no, it is. I'm surprised it doesn't look super cheesy, the CG, and that the world looks pretty legit, you know?
Yeah, when I first heard about it, I was kind of thinking I'm going to steer away. Maybe I'll watch it when it comes out on, Netflix or something like that. But after seeing the trailer, I'm kind of interested now. It looks a lot better done, or a lot more well done, I should say, than I was expecting.
Yeah. No, that's totally true. I don't think I had a lot of expectations for how this would look, and the fact that Mr. Mime looks so creepy is actually quite appropriate, I think. That he's supposed to look creepy. Huh?
Yeah, that's very true.
Anyway, we'll talk more about that in the future as we see more, but I'll definitely go see that in the theaters. I still remember when I went to see the original Pokemon movie in the theaters by myself, because I didn't want anyone to know that I was going to the original animated Pokemon movie filled with all, like, the 10-year-olds whose parents were bringing them to.
Did you get, and do you still have, the shiny Mew card?
I have that ancient Mew card. Yes, I still have that there. Yeah, sitting around somewhere in my collection. Or I might have given it out, actually. I might have given that as a prize to some people on the podcast, the old WTPT podcast I did. So before we move on to the main show, once again, I want to remind everybody that this show is part of the experience of being in the SwitchCast, but a large part of that is the community that we have cropped up around it and all the great people like Ori here. And there are several ways to participate in that, the vanguard of which is the Discord chat. We have links to all of our groups in the show notes, but if you go check out the Discord, it's a chat room for video game players. We have a great community there that's always organizing events, playing in groups. We have channels for each different game that's of interest, including a Pokemon channel and, a Diablo one, anything like that they want to team up in. Of course, we have a Facebook group. We have a Twitter. And just add us on the friends list on your Switch, because we have a chart with everyone's friend code. You can add me. I'm always happy to join people for a game because, everyone seems to be pretty cool so far. I haven't had a bad experience yet playing with anybody, so don't hesitate to drop me a message and join us all. All right, so we have a lot of awesome stuff coming up this episode. We're going to have a couple of good reviews in the game station. Our Switch focus, we're going to be talking about apps on the Switch. We had the YouTube app come out, and now we're just kind of interested where this is going in the future and if that's even something necessary. Of course, we're going to be reading your opinions on that. And as always, the news rundown with all the events and new releases of the week. So without further ado, why don't we jump into the game station?
Sounds good to me.
All right, Game Station, and we have a lot of great games to talk about with you this week, but as our guest of honor, I will give you the lead, and you can talk about at least one of these great games that you've been playing this week. So why don't you tell us, what do you feel like telling us? Is it something that you've played recently, or is it a little bit of an older game that you want to catch up on?
So, since I've been told that I can't talk about Okami, I will move to the ones that I've been playing more recently. So
Rin has been begging me to review Okami on the show since last time she was on, and we didn't have time for it. So she has dibs on Okami. Yes, I have to graciously give Rin dibs.
I'll concede to Ren on that one. She'll probably more hyped about it than even I am, even though 100% completed. So I actually picked up just recently, and unfortunately it was after Halloween because it went on sale. I picked up Hollow, which is a sci-fi space first-person horror kind of exploration game. I've been getting into that a little bit. The wife loves horror stuff. She's not very good at first-person shooters or first-person anything, but she'll sit on the couch next to me and go through with it. So it's really...
I have to ask, is this is it like a watching experience, or is it something where she actually like is playing sometimes, or is she just like solving puzzles with you or something like that?
Yeah, so she's helping me solve puzzles a little bit, mainly just watching. Unfortunately, there's no two-player interaction that we found, but it's a really creepy scenario game. You're kind of just dropped into an empty space station when you start, and you have nothing. Alarms are going off, everything's really dark, lights are breaking, and really, it's just you and your flashlight walking around trying to figure out what to do.
My best friend, Flashy.
So yeah, we've been getting into that. I'm just kind of probably a quarter of the way through that game right now.
Is it action-y, or is it just like more of like a slow, scary kind of like, ambiance fear? So
far, it's been mostly kind of slow ambiance, exploring, but we have seen, I don't have a definition for it, things skittering across in the distance, sounds, breathing, growling, but we haven't run into them yet. I'm waiting for that to happen still.
So you actually haven't had anything that's like attacked you of yet? You haven't had, you've been playing it for how many hours now, and like has anything like actually assaulted your character?
We're probably 3 or 4 hours in, but that could mean a lot of different things to different people because we tend to get lost and we tend to get turned around, and it takes a little while to figure out the puzzles, even the early on one.
Okay, so this seems to be pretty like, strongly focused on that puzzle aspect then. It's not a first-person shooter. It's like a first-person exploration game where you may have to shoot.
Yeah, and I feel like you're going to do a lot of running in the early games when you run into them.
Okay, the things.
The things, yeah. Whatever they are. Ooh.
Xenomorphs plus.
Yeah, so I can go into the other game that I picked up in the last couple weeks is Shantae, Half Genie Hero.
Classic.
Yeah,
tons of DLC for that game too.
And it all comes bundled in, and I gotta say it's not my favorite platformer, but it's right up there now with one of my favorites. I just love going through the game, figuring out the different abilities that you unlock and how you unlock those. So it's kind of, I don't want to say Zelda-esque because it's like a side-scrolling Zelda, but not like Zelda 2. You kind of...
Well, why don't you explain the premise of the game, and for those who might not know what Shantae is all about.
Okay, so the premise of Shantae is you're a half genie, and you are in this town, and they hire you to protect this town. So in the very beginning of the game, events occur that basically get you demoted, and another genie comes in to protect the town.
Okay.
So now you're going through the world, and you're still trying to regain your position while also trying to help your uncle with his shop and building this mysterious device that's going to help you defend the city. But going through and pushing bad guys out, fighting your way through side-scrolling, kind of Mega Man-y levels.
Okay, so it plays out in linear platform action stages.
Yes, and there's definitely puzzles and things too, and you kind of hit a point where you need something, like in Zelda, you get halfway through a level and you'd hit something, you're like, I need something. Well, if you look around and you kind of explore a little bit in that level, you'll find an ability usually that helps you get by that. So you don't have items, you have transformations, so you transform into I think I have a monkey and a crab and a couple other like animals that you can transform into, and you can also even transform into enemies if you find those special off the beaten path kinds of things. So,
and are those powers you've unlocked the rest of the game, or they only last with you for that stage?
Yeah, so they actually stay with you for the rest of the game, and she kind of transforms into them doing this cute little dance. So you have these they're actually triggered by different dances, which are mapped to different
shoulder buttons.
Is it? It's shoulder, but it's actually a directional pad.
Oh, the D-pad.
The
D-pad.
D-pad.
The left. Okay.
Yeah, so you start dancing with a shoulder button, but then you transform by hitting one of the D-pads. And the monkey makes you jump higher, the crab lets you swim, so on and so forth. And on top of that, you also have other abilities, like you can get a shield, you can get a fireball. They all upgrade, and you make your way through with that. Now, if you don't have any of that available, or you run out of magic, she always falls back to her handy hair whip, which is one of the best animations I've seen.
Okay, that's pretty cool. And I know this game always had like because I played the one or two of them on like DS and on mobile before, but it always came over like really good animation, and like the characters, especially the bosses, felt like totally like cartoons come to life. They always have a very good animated feel and just lots of moving parts going on with them.
Yep, that's a big part of it too. I've beaten a few bosses, and now that I'm thinking about it, it's very frustrating too, because it's a lot more difficult than I was expecting.
Oh, really?
From a game, at least for me. I'm not the biggest platformer. I die a lot in Mega Man. I die a lot in Shantae. One of the most frustrating, I think. It's a really cool boss. They're not always the same, so it's not always just get to a boss, hit them, or blow them up. Like the one that I remember most is you actually go onto a boss screen, and then all of a sudden it appears below you, and it starts chasing you up, and you actually have to get through obstacles, get around enemies, transform to jump, and get through small places without dying, as the whole time the bottom of the screen is chasing you up and forcing you up. And yeah, it's a little bit different. I really like it. I really like what they've done, but yeah, I'm not very good at it.
How punishing is it to someone like you? Like, if you die, is there like a steep, do you get set back far if you die? Do you have to worry about lives, restarting stages, that kind of thing?
So the way it works is you have a set amount of health that you can increase, of course, by collecting items. But when you run out of health, every section of the stage that you go through, whenever you do a main transition, it asks you, do you want to save? And if you save and you die, you just go back to that. So that boss that was chasing me up, I probably restarted that guy 20 times, but at least I only had to do the boss. I didn't have to do the level before him.
Okay.
And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's kind of Celeste-like in that, where in Celeste you could try again and again and again, and it would just set you back.
Like, that always kind of frustrated me in like Mega Man games, right? Because some of the most interesting parts are the boss fights, right? And you would get up to one, and usually the first time you fought a boss ever would just be a learning experience of like, okay, what the heck's this guy's shtick? I don't even have weapons yet. I just need to I don't even know what pattern he has. And you're just observing. So you usually just die the first time. And the second or third time, you're just still trying out experimenting with some ideas. And then you die. And then you're like, oh, I'm out of lives. And now you have to do the whole stage over before you get back to him and remember what you learned last time you played him. And it just becomes this little bit of like annoying hurdle to get back to the part that you're really interested in, is figuring out this boss. And you've already beaten the stage, and that's just a hurdle to, block your memory and make it a little more annoying. I like being able to I'm up to the boss, just let me fight the boss and work this puzzle out until I solve it.
Yeah, or you play Mega Man like I do, and by the 5th time of fighting that boss, you pick a different boss and try to get through that one.
That'll happen. That'll happen, yeah. Have you touched any of the DLC yet?
I have. I actually started, I kind of got sidetracked because I started doing the Hero Mode DLC, which is just you start the game with all of the dances, which makes it a little bit easier for you. I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't read before I clicked Hero Mode.
I think I got the impression that all the DLC things are kind of like endgame material, so
yeah,
you'd have all whatever costumes plus one special power that is specific to the challenges that DLC is going to give you. Like, I know the newest one was like jammies mode, which her like in her sleeping jammies.
Yes, and it is adorable. I started to play that just for 10 minutes just because I wanted to see what it looked like.
So you can just pick any one of them to play though, so you don't actually have to beat the game or beat any particular DLC to enjoy one or the others, it sounds like.
Yeah, so I don't know if I have everything unlocked, or maybe some of it's locked, but there's definitely a selection. So when you go into the main menu, you have a choice of starting the main campaign, starting in hero mode, which is just you have all of the main powers unlocked, or you can do, they have like a ninja mode where you play as one of the enemies, and a jammies mode, which it just to me looks like a swap of what she's wearing.
I think it's like a new, like a power, but it's like, Kirby with a new enemy swallowed. Like she just has a certain like pillow attacks, things like that,
Yeah, that's what I was getting from it too. I haven't explored a lot of the DLC yet. I'm still working my way about halfway through probably the main game.
All right, very cool. No, Shantae's always been a series that's fascinating me, and I'm glad that it's had a very strong presence on the Switch, and good platformers like that, deserve a place. But it's tough competition out there, you got to be really good to earn the attention, and a lot of people have been paying attention to her, so. All right, so I've been playing something that I feel that hasn't gotten as much attention as I thought, as I now realize that I think it deserves. It was Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
I'm super excited about this game.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. This is something I really want to pick up for the wife. I just haven't done it yet. So I'm really interested to hear what you say.
Okay, no, this is actually a pretty fun little title with a unique gameplay structure to it. So it opens up like a little storybook, and it kind of gives you right into the action of your little Captain Toad. If you've played any of the recent like Mario Odyssey or any of the Mario games, he is this toady with a little spelunker light on his head and a backpack full of treasure and he shows up in a few of the games in adventurous places. And here he has his own little game where it's him and Toadette on an expedition, and she gets taken away by some random crow monster, and he's got to go find her. And but the way this plays out is every stage of the game, or every page in the book that you pick, is basically this little enclosed world, almost like, imagine like a square version of the Mario Galaxy worlds, right? So just imagine a very small cube, and it's packed with all sorts of little holes to go and explore, little levers to pull, some monsters here and there, but it's not action-y like a 3D Mario game. Toad doesn't have like jumps, he doesn't have like, punches and stuff like that. He can pick up like vegetables from the ground and like throw them, but those are only finite, number of them. His main thing is it is a puzzle game, and you explore the places you can go on this cube or this location, and you're going to try to puzzle out how to get to the star that's on the stage, as well as all kinds of other little side quests you can do and other little bonuses you can try hunting for. So the worlds are all really cool and different. They have, let's say like a haunted house one. They have ones that are like, in Star Road, typical Mario looking worlds, ones that are like full of water and you can go fall down into the middle of it, take pipes into secret corners. There's a lot of interactive elements on some of the stages. Like one of them will have like when you step on a certain spot, you can turn a wheel that shows up on the screen, and you'll start like rotating parts of the cube, and maybe you'll open up like a secret passage, or there's a whole other half of the the cube you can explore. There's so much packed in there. It really feels bigger than the stages look. A lot of it is paying attention and playing with the camera, and because you have to kind of look around, not even just where you're standing, you kind of have to look at the world from a different angle to see like, ooh, I can see from this side, like, there's a star, or one of the coins I need is like, on this corner of the map. Now I just have to puzzle out how to get there and dodge enemies.
You were talking about the different worlds. What world have you come across so far that stands out, one of your favorites?
I mean, always in these games, I gotta say, like, boo houses, like those haunted houses, always are great. Especially because they fit in with this kind of world, because they are full of so many secrets and like lots of like really sneakily hidden stuff. Like you'll pull a lever that opens up a staircase, but you won't realize that if you change your camera angle and look at that same staircase from the opposite side, you'll see there's a door that's like in the side of it that you only can see now that you've like, raised it from the ground, and you'll go in that, and then you'll pop out on the underside of the cube, and you'll find out that the bottom of the cube is its own little reverse gravity world where there's like a little mini challenge to take on. That's pretty fun. Some of the stages are completely different mini games. For example, there's a couple of stages that are like a minecart ride, and it's just a first-person shooter mode where you're throwing like beats at as many coins and enemies as you can along the ride and trying to collect the power-ups along the way before you hit the end of the road. There are even boss battles that play out in this unique way where there's like a kind of like a chase, kind of like what you were saying, how like there was that boss that was chasing you from the bottom of the stage, right? There's kind of a similar boss in this one there. It's like a lava dragon and it's shooting, pretty regularly. It's like shooting these little puffs of, poison at you, but the lava is slowly raising from the bottom of the stage. So you have to keep climbing up, but at the same time, you always have to look for the secrets everywhere. So you're always looking around to try to find, like, where's the little hidden gems? Where's some gold coins? Where's the star? And you're always exploring and finding the secrets while you're under the pressure of both dodging his shots and trying to outspeed the lava, which is pretty intense and it's pretty fun. It's not like so intense. It's not like, again, full-on action game, but it's casual tension, I guess you could say.
3D Mario tense.
I guess so. It's still not even like that. It's still like, again, you're just this slow-moving toad guy, but you still have to, like, shake a leg. You don't have to, like, you can take your time a little bit, but, don't forget that you're fighting a boss.
So, it sounds really, really cool. Is there, like, so, like I said, I was looking at this for the wife. Is there multiplayer in this or anything?
Kinda, but not really. It has multiplayer. Again, similar to how Galaxy does it. Player 2 can control a cursor on the screen and throw beats at enemies, which, unless you're like a parent playing with their kid, makes the game too easy. Part of the challenge of the game is figuring out how to take out certain enemies. Some enemies aren't even meant to be taken out. And some of the special challenges, actually every stage, in addition to having a star that you have to get to beat the stage and 3 gems that you can get as an optional, like, extra challenge, there's usually a special challenge, something random sounding, like get through this stage collecting at least 50 coins. Or get through this stage without ever being spotted by one of the shy guys. And this turned this one stage actually into a little bit of like a Solid Snake mission where I'm not only just trying to get to the star, I'm now trying to make sure I can dodge all of the shy guys as they patrol around the stage. And if any one of them sees me, if I want this special achievement, I had to restart the stage. And it's pretty fun. But if I had a player 2 just taking them all out remotely, there would be 0 challenge and 0 fun in taking on that mission. So
gotcha.
It's not really a feature, but I think 2 players still can enjoy it by puzzling things out together, like looking for stuff. There's even a third mode, or another reason to go back to stages in this hide and seek mode, where after you've beaten a stage, you can go back and there'll be a little pixel toad, like a little 8-bit icon of Toady, who will hide himself somewhere in the stage. And all you have to do is just be able to find where he's hiding. You don't have to get your character to him. You just have to, either maybe remove some obstacle or just tilt the screen in a way or poke your head somewhere and just find him and then be able to tap him on the touch screen or with the cursor. And you've succeeded. And this is actually really fun because now I'm like going back over the same stage and maybe I missed a little secret corner or somewhere, or maybe I just never thought to look inside this hole after taking out the piranha plant that was hidden there. And, it's just a fun way to get more gameplay out of like these little stages that just have all these extra stuff hidden inside them. It's really fun to, explore.
Yeah, it sounds like a very kind of relaxing, take your time, just explore. I love games like that. That's a good way to escape.
Yeah, no, it is, and I'm very much enjoying it. Only fear I have is that it's not especially long. I mean, you'll probably get about, I'd say, 15 hours of gameplay out of this, but I think that's like, it might take me 20 tops, I think, to like 100% it. like to get everything out of this game.
Is it a full retail? Are they asking $60 for it?
It looks like it's going for about $40. So it's not like a full $60 game. So it's fairly priced for what you're getting. Still, you got to make sure that that's something that you want, that you're happy with getting that much time out of it. And they did add something. There is a couple of stages based on Mario Odyssey, because this actually was originally like a Wii game that at that time had some Mario 3D World stages in it, but they switched those out and switched in 3 Mario Odyssey stages, which is pretty cool. But again, I honestly would eat up more, and I would actually consider buying DLC of this game if they like released a pack of like 10 new stages or something like that. I'm kind of hungry for more of this. I played through it fairly fast. I'm almost at the end of it right now. But I'm hungry for more, and it's the kind of game I would be happy to turn on anytime and just kind of take on one of these little bite-sized stages, explore it, find every nook and cranny, discover all the little secrets and cool tricks they had, and then move on to the next one. So, yeah. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, totally happy with it, and I hope this is the beginning of our franchise, honestly. I think that Captain Toad series like this would be really cool to have.
Well, you took away my last question there, answering the DLC early, but would you like maybe a little pop quiz on that game?
Okay.
So, I randomly found this in an interview when it was first coming out, and I was first looking into it, but we've all known Toad to be able to jump from previous games, especially like Super Mario 2. So, do you know why he can't jump in this game?
I heard that it's because he has too much treasure in his backpack.
Ah, well, okay, so I'm not the only one that found that. I was hoping that would stump you.
That's funny. I think I just saw that. I might have, like, while doing the research on this game, stumbled upon that. If I wasn't reviewing it, probably would never have heard that.
There you go. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think I will eventually pick it up, maybe if it goes on sale especially. The wife really loves games like this, and I actually enjoy just kind of helping her through it.
Yeah,
so
I think it'd be fun.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, I think it can still work 2-player on the TV. I've only been playing it handheld mode. I think it actually works best like that, especially with the touchscreen stuff like that. Moving around platforms or stuff like, or aiming. There's a couple times where you can aim a few things on the screen, like, cannons and stuff. But I still think a second pair of eyes can watch things that are going on in the background while the main player's focused on Toad and where he's going and like dodging obstacles. But player 2 can just kind of be looking around in the background like, hey, there's something funny moving around in that corner there. Maybe you should try getting up there or try going in that pipe. I think that pipe leads somewhere. And, just having that to work together, or on some stages you just have to have a really good idea. Like they do some pretty smart tricks on some of the stages that you have to have a cool insight into how to like get from place to place or how to solve a certain puzzle box. So yeah.
So could you even do something like if you were playing on the TV? Could you share the joy and one person have the Joy-Con that controls Toad and the other one have the camera and do something like that?
I think you can have the other person do like the manipulating on the screen, like turning boxes or, like I said, you can manipulate certain things like move platforms. And so one person can maybe even do that while the other person just controls Toad. Okay. I think that as long as you don't use the beats you can throw freely just to kill all enemies, I think if you just purposely don't use that power, you can probably have a decent time, doing it 2-player. I just feel like that's the one power that just kind of breaks any difficulty. And it's not even a difficult game. It's just that takes away one whole chunk of the challenge.
Yeah, it's like using the friends in the new Kirby game. It just completely makes the game easy.
All right, well, those are our game reviews for this week. So why don't we take a quick breather and move into our Switch focus for the week. So, Switch Focus this week, I wanted to talk about the idea of SwitchApps, basically non-game applications that will come to Switch. They seem to be trickling in right now. We just got last week the YouTube app, just for watching videos and everything else that YouTube's good for. Hulu, which is, a little more serious of a video app. That's the, where you're going to go if you have a subscription there and you want to watch movies or TV shows and stuff. But it looks like we're probably going to get more variety of these kind of things. Every system seems to get them now, but I'm just kind of curious what we feel like, or what the community thinks, or what kind of apps do we want, if any, and why do they have to come to the Switch in the first place? So, Ori, let me ask you first off, have you tried any of those ones out yet? Either the YouTube or the Hulu app on Switch?
So I am a YouTube Red subscriber, and I'm downloading the YouTube app right now onto my Switch as we speak.
Okay.
So I have not got a chance to try it, but I'm assuming it'll be like most of the other consoles and fairly well done and polished because it's on a Nintendo one.
I will give it this one thing. I did download and use it more so than, let's say, when I had it on the DS, right? It's easier to type on the Switch, so going into the search box and finding what I want to watch is pretty easy. Usually when this comes to consoles, unless you have a keyboard already connected to your console, I find it usually useless to have something like YouTube, because then you have to do like the point and click typing thing, which is the biggest nightmare in the world. It's kind of funny too, like whenever I go in the eShop, I never do the eShop in docked mode because I always pick it out of there because I want to type on the Switch screen, and then I stick it back in the dock when I'm done typing, because even point and click typing is kind of a pain. And so just for that feature alone, the YouTube app is not a bad fit for the Switch like that. Only because, though, it's nice to have. It's probably the largest screen I have on a portable device, whereas everyone probably has a tablet or a iPhone that they use YouTube on regularly. But I think my Switch is probably still the biggest screen I have portably around.
Yeah, and I think that's my thing. In the job that I have, I almost always have my laptop on me. So if I'm gonna stream something, I'm probably gonna flip that open and plug it in. But this could be good. I'm thinking I have a lot of long airline air flights, and my company springs for Wi-Fi. So
that's pretty good. Okay.
Yeah, if I can get a good stream going on the Switch, that's easier to pull out than my laptop. Pop some headphones in, and off I go.
I mean, as long as you have Wi-Fi, I mean, I guess it's a good, strong option. Without having its own internet, like your phone has data that you can use as a last resort. So that's always going to be like, if I just know I need something to load, I'm just going to use my phone. But I guess it doesn't really hurt to have the app on there, and it probably will come in handy once in a while, like you said, like that. But I guess these are the most basic apps right now, right? So these are the first things that are come because they're pretty safe. People will download YouTube on everything. They'll download it on their microwave oven just to kill time if it had that capability. But what I kind of want to ask is, what apps would you really want to see on here? What do you think could be interesting to add to the Switch? Or do you think that it's just not something that belongs on there? You don't need non-gaming things on your Switch.
Discord. Discord is number one on my list. Of course,
okay.
I've been playing around with the YouTube app as you were kind of going through it, and I realized you can't open it and have a game running at the same time. So it'd have to be something they worked on there. But yes, Discord, or actually, why not the official Nintendo Friends group chat app?
Oh, that's true there. I mean, I guess, right, because people want to be able, if they're going to integrate it, make people at least see it more often. If there was a variation of it on the Switch itself that you can update when you're on there and it's synced up with what your phone does, people might use it a little bit more. That's true. I feel like that's the only reason they wouldn't put Discord on the Switch, is that it kind of directly competes with their own, online app that they're trying to promote. But Discord was originally designed to be an iPhone app that can run in the background and not disturb mobile games while you're live chatting. I did that on Vainglory all the time. I had Discord running in the background on the very phone that I was live chatting with people in the game with, and that would be really good if they could find a way to have it run on there as your alternate chat method in case you don't want to use the Nintendo app. So that's actually a pretty good one there. Personally, the first things that come to mind for me is making use of that big, beautiful screen and the way it's so nice and touch screeny. I wouldn't mind if they brought back, I don't think they need to bring back that whole, Miiverse thing with all the drawings and stuff, but I wouldn't mind some silly little I like that drawing app they had on the 3DS. What was the one where you could send people like, your little messages and it had that girl with the glasses?
I know what you're talking about. It was adorable.
Yeah, right. And I kind of liked it. I mean, I liked little apps like that just to doodle with or mess with. Just the 3DS had so many little apps that I don't think people loved. They weren't like a big selling point. So maybe that's why they don't care about them as much anymore. But I liked them. I thought they were charming. Even just, more stuff to
Swap Note.
Doodle with. Swap Note.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked stupid little Swap Note. I was probably one of like the 10% of people who used it and actually sent friends of mine on my friends list, a drawing, or when they had like a special background for the month. I enjoyed that kind of stuff. It just kind of kept me in contact with people in a weird, fun way.
That brings up kind of another thing. I don't know if it would be considered like an app since it's not standalone, but the Street Pass stuff. I really miss Street Pass.
Totally. Or even like me game, like those little me things that they can do. Like, bring, what's it called? Like that app that, what was that stupid one they had on the iPhone where you with the Mii's, but they weren't Mii's, like would meet up and
you could do the gambling thing where you could win money to get clothes and
right.
things like that.
Yeah, like the pachinko-y thing. Right.
It wasn't Miiverse.
Oof.
Man.
No.
That was
it's not even that long ago, but that was short.
Miitomo?
You know what? That on the Switch could have a fun time, because honestly, I don't need stuff like that on my phone, but you know what? If it was on my Switch, I might check it out between games, or just, when I'm on there, or like when I'm in that mode. I don't need more distractions on my phone. I'm trying to phase those out. In fact, I'm even trying to eliminate my social media apps on my phone right now, because they're too distracting. But when I'm on my Switch, I'm purposely choosing, this is a distraction time. This is a time of day where I'm like, I'm going to be doing something leisurely. More and more, my phone is becoming my device for getting things done, and I don't need that stuff that distracts me. I used to have so many alerts show up all day that I was constantly looking, I got this update, or this person tweeted for the first time in a while, and I was just like, I'm done, and I got rid of it. I kind of wouldn't mind migrating some of that stuff over to my Switch. A thing that doesn't alert me in the day. It doesn't wake up and beg me for attention when I'm not using it. But when I pick it up, it might say, hey, here's like 10 things that happened while you're gone. Want to go stop by Miitomo and say hello to Hermes,
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And it actually is almost kind of disappointing, because have you played the new Dragalia game, I think it's called, for the mobile
Dragalia Lost.
Dragalia Lost, yes. So
I started it. JV told me he was playing it still, but I started it and just kind of quickly lost interest.
See, for me, I thought it was a really good concept. I loved the game, but simply for the fact that it's on my mobile phone and not on the Switch, I'm probably not going to play it.
Yeah. The Switch has turned me off to a lot more mobile games, because I feel like the Switch, which is on me almost all the time now, if I'm going to play games on the go, it's my more default option. I keep one like tycoon type game on my phone just for emergencies where like I'm on the line at the bank and it's like, not a good time to take out my Switch, but I do want something just brainless to kill the next 10 minutes in this boring situation, just some silly little tycoon game. That's about all I want on my phone anymore. Other than that, if a good game comes on an iPhone, I kind of wait for it to come to Switch now.
Yeah, cross your fingers and hope it makes it over.
Yeah. But speaking of those kind of games, what do you think about the games that do cross over to the Switch that from mobile? Like, did you play that, what was it, Pokemon Quest at all?
Yeah, I got into that for probably about a week, and it came out on the phone first, and of course I picked it up there, and then it came out on the Switch, and there was no way to transfer any of your data or link it up in any way. So I started playing it on the Switch. I liked playing it on the Switch more, and then I accidentally deleted it one day and never went back to it.
Okay, fair enough. I think I have a lot more like save space on my Switch because I bought the memory card for it, whereas I have I only got the 16 gigabyte phone. My phone's pretty old now, and even if I got to upgrade, I usually lean towards the less memory phone because just the price difference is just so much. So since space itself is so much more important on my phone, again, or at so much of a premium, I'm more willing to throw an app on the Switch than I probably would on my phone. Now, one thing I was like, I recently had the update with the phone. It tells you like the time you spent looking at the screen, and it tells you what your game time and stuff like that was. I guess they have that already in the parental features or something like that. I don't know if they already have that in the Switch, but I feel like I would use more any like applications that tracked how much I played everything and kind of like let me know how much time I'm like actually spending with it, you know, just to track my time like that.
You know, I think there is a way in the friend area.
I feel like there is.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like there is, but it's not like made for that. It's not made to like actually like help you keep your gaming under control.
Which is funny because I don't know where to find it for me, but I have a good friend that plays, and when it first came out, we both got Legend of Zelda, and he kind of got halfway through and then put it down, and about 3-4 weeks later, he texted me, he goes, "Really? Do you have 350 some odd hours in Legend of Zelda?" And I went, "Yeah, probably, that sounds right."
That's good. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, they give those little alerts like that there. So are there any other like dream apps that you would want to put on the Switch there, or anything that like is on your phones or maybe isn't, and that you would kind of want to see maybe make the switch over?
You know, if we're gonna look at that, I would love to see Netflix and Plex if we're going to go the route of mobile video watching for sure. And then maybe if they can get music in the background, something like Pandora, so I can listen to my tunes.
I could see that, you know, because a few games on iPhone made it a point that they would integrate with your music app, and they would use your playlist as the background music in a game. And that would be pretty strong in some games where I'm playing on the Switch. They'd be like, you know what? Yeah, this isn't a game where the music to it matters too much to me. I want to listen to my Smash Mouth, or I want to listen to some Rob Zombie or whatever, like for this game. I want to have my playlist on here, and I think that actually wouldn't be too bad of a idea for integrating like that.
What about you? Anything you're yearning for?
Just a weird feature. You just remind me of like one of the first music-based games I ever played on iPhone. It was like one of the first iPod games even, was Song Summoner.
Okay.
This was a Square Enix game, and it was actually like a kind of like a Final Fantasy Tactics-y game, but you would summon your creatures in the game from tracks on your iPod. So it would basically create a creature that would be randomly generated based on the data of songs in your library, and then you would like power them up. They would level up based on how often you listen to their song.
I was gonna say, that's a really cool concept, kind of like Monster Rancher back in the day on the PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly, like a Monster Rancher, right? So I think that'd be pretty cool, like to have some sort of incorporation with that. Maybe like not necessarily like a musical track thing, but just something like that. Like I'm thinking like a Monster Hunter-y kind of app, not Monster Hunter, Monster Rancher-y kind of app, something to get me, you know, poking around something for random data to like collect monsters, or, you know, some sort of collectibles like that. You know, not like it's a game even, just something that, I don't know, almost like that puzzle thing we did before on the 3DS, that weird, like, you know, collecting those puzzle pieces by talking to friends.
You know, I didn't think about it. The one thing the Switch is missing is a camera. So you can't do any kind of real-world visual applications with it.
Yeah. Honestly, okay, actually, you know what, the first thing, I want my Kindle on there. I got pretty hooked on Kindle books, or the Kindle app on my phone, and I spent a lot of time reading on my phone. But again, even though I got the 6 Plus, it's not as big a screen as the Switch, and I would love to do some of my half the games I play are visual novels anyway. Give me just the Kindle app to play and read some books on my Switch. I would probably eat that up.
Do you have a physical Kindle, or do you just have the app?
No, I just have the app, and I'm actually slightly limited on what I can do with it because it's the app and not a physical Kindle.
Okay. I was just curious if you'd prefer the Switch over an actual Kindle or not.
I mean, I like the Kindles, and I'm really I've seen some really good ones that I'm like secretly wouldn't mind getting for Christmas, but We'll see if any hints get dropped there for the misses. But no.
So anyone in the audience that wants to give Casey a Kindle for Christmas, that's your cue.
But no, seriously, yeah, that would probably be like one thing, because yeah, I am trying to do more reading, and that would help me out having it on that nice big screen there. Do you want to read anything from the community and see what they've shared with us on their feedback to this topic?
Is that a cue to go on to the community pulse?
That is a cue to me. Yes, that is the cue for the community pulse.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull a note here from Federico de Obeso, the same person that brought this lovely episode to you. His comment this week from the Patreon is, I don't want them on the Switch. We have iPads, iPhones, and computers for that. The Switch is for games, and it excels at it. I can understand that sentiment. I personally probably won't use a lot of these, as I mentioned earlier, unless there's something that kind of links back into a game. But I always just kind of figure anything that brings more people to the platform, in my opinion, is a good thing.
See, I just think they could have more fun apps that aren't games. Again, like a lot of the stuff we were saying, like all those, like the Miitomo kind of stuff, they're fun, but they're not necessarily games. Again, yeah, that's the kind of thing I think would be more of a fit. But I totally get when people don't want to feel like their system is being confused with like a productivity tool, right? They want to feel like their thing is for games, and it's not like being cluttered up with all these apps that you have to now sift through that are for, non-gaming stuff.
Definitely, yep.
Well, Christopher Beaumont is a little bit in disagreement with that. He wrote on Facebook, it's an entertainment device, so the more entertainment options, the better. As mentioned above, the YouTube app is missing a bunch of features. I just want folders, maybe themes for the menu. I struggle to think of any non-gaming app I would want on Switch. No one is going to use a word processor, for instance, and I wouldn't want to compose an email on there. I am surprised there is no camera. Maybe that is coming in the revision, but I am sure they have analytics on how often it was used on Wii U, and so it wasn't worth it to include at first. I think digital instruments would be interesting, something that actually lets you compose and share music. That's a good one. I could actually see that, though some other people in the comments linked a picture to Wii Music, which was a not very popular app, but I think that something like that would be a fun app. Again, it's something fun, but not a game, a tool for enjoyment, like Mario Paint was. Mario Paint is what came to mind for me. It was a fun non-game for the Super Nintendo.
Something to create, but not something that's overly complicated.
Right,
still
maybe
fun.
something a little more free form than, let's say, like the cardboard kits.
Oh, Labo.
Like Labo's great. It does have a lot of potential for ingenuity and creativity, but just something, I can just pick up and either draw or compose. That would be pretty cool. All right, another one you want to read?
Sure. I'll jump down a little ways, and I will read one from Nathan Pratt, who says, I think it's very helpful to have a handful of essential apps for families considering buying either an iPad or the Switch. Evens the pros/cons out. Also, I'm happier seeing YouTube on there rather than games containing predatory microtransaction. And I actually can see that. I came from a large family with many brothers and sisters, and usually we would get one big Christmas gift. So if you're looking at it and you have, especially a younger child in the family, and you have to make a decision between an iPad that's a little more complicated, has a bunch of, shovelware games on it, where they're always being prompted to buy something, or you have the Switch where it's run and curated by Nintendo, and yet they can still get their all-important YouTube for watching, the Fortnite stuff and all that on there. I think it's a really good point.
Yeah, no, solid, yeah. I think Nash here on Twitter actually leaves a pretty good point. Everyone forgets about docked mode. And of course, I would like to have Netflix, Hulu, Twitch, Amazon Prime, and all of those on my Switch. Won't waste battery life if you don't have a smart TV, but it's super useful. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. He's right. When we go on vacations a lot, and we go to other countries even, or just, we stay at a hotel somewhere, very often we end up just watching YouTube on a phone because either, the TV station, we don't really watch regular TV and maybe we just want to watch something on, Netflix or Hulu. But you know what? If we were to pack a dock, the small Switch dock, it's still easy enough to bring with us in like luggage on trips like that. Plug that into the TV in the hotel, and now we're watching on a full TV our Netflix, our YouTube videos or stuff like that while we're on vacations like that. So we can bring that, that whole console experience to a TV wherever we go. So actually, he just reminded me of that. That's actually a not bad utility of this that I don't think any of the other things have, unless you can buy the wires to hook up your like iPhone to a TV. So I guess that's also an option. But if you have the Switch, it's not that hard to just throw that dock in your luggage, and now you have access to all these things on your TVs abroad, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's actually something that applies to me. Now if Nintendo would just release a small portable dock.
Yes. That is... I really do hope those catch on, and that more options for that for the real traveler works. Some other people, just in general, a lot of people have mentioned the Crunchyroll would be a perfect fit on there, and I think that's something that I would possibly get into. I don't watch a ton of anime right now, but maybe I'd be interested in it if it was easy to get the subscription working on Switch. And there's that manga reading app I know they announced a while back, so I think some people might be interested in. Again, I guess that's kind of like getting my ebooks almost.
Yeah, and actually, if the Amazon app came to it, I think they do comics as well, which would be one benefit over my Kindle that it had, is its color.
True. Yeah. Okay, sounds cool. All right, well, thank you everybody who wrote into us and shared your opinions. If you want to take part in next week's one, just, keep your eyes on the Facebook and Twitter group. Usually Wednesdays I post the questions. And, of course, our Patreon backers, I post it on there as well as on the Patreon page. So why don't we take one last breath? We'll go into the news and new releases and wrap this show up, all right?
All right.
News rundown, and here are your headlines. Why don't you kick us off here?
All right, the first thing on our list today is Nintendo has officially updated their NES Classics for the Switch, bringing a few new games. The headliner, of course, here is Metroid, followed up by Mighty Bomb Jack and Twinbee.
I was a fan. Twinbee is actually pretty good. It's like, it looks like kiddie-ish, but it's actually a really good like shoot 'em up game for 2 players even, and it actually worked. And I remember I rented this on NES a bunch back when I went to a Captain Video that it had like maybe 20 different games. I rented this a bunch there, but I think you even could link up with player 2 and you shoot special lasers. It was particularly good 2-player shmup.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like a pretty very low polygonal shmup, but it looks pretty good from what I've seen. So I'll be checking that out as soon as I can get through Metroid one more time. Yeah,
not that I generally care about these awards too much personally, but the Game Awards are coming up, and there were a few good Switch games listed amongst the nominees for certain things, and I felt like bringing those up. Interestingly, the Game of the Year category has only one Switch game in it, and it's Celeste of all titles, which is very surprising. The indies seem to have stood out more than almost anything else on this whole thing. But it's going up against things like Monster Hunter World, God of War, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So it has an uphill battle, but it is interesting to see that make it here.
Well, I'm glad to see that the game that beat me this year is actually up for the #1 game award, because I could not beat that game.
Oh, which one?
Celeste.
Oh, Celeste. Okay, yeah, all right, interesting. Yes. A few ones though, the ones with best art direction, Octopath Traveler's up on there, which is definitely viable. Just the fact that it's so unique, yet it's that old school, yet HD 2D graphics, which is really cool and something people haven't seen before. Celeste is also up for best score of music, as well as Octopath Traveler. But the place where Nintendo really shined naturally is in the best family game section, where we have Mario Tennis Aces, Nintendo Labo, Overcooked 2, and Mario Party. And Starlink Battle for Atlas. So
I think Nintendo's going to win that one.
I think they see Overcooked 2's on multiple consoles, so I think that might count.
So is Starlink.
Oh yeah, so those will count as like a shared win. But if it's anything, it's definitely going to be a Nintendo category, which is really kind of fun there. I'm also Banner Saga. I'm rooting for in the strategy game, even though Valkyria Chronicles 4 is up there as well. But I didn't play that one yet. But those are both really awesome options there. So there's a whole bunch of others, but great to see the Nindies aren't just, supporting the Switch. They're like really, standing on the brink of, what's on people's minds and what needs to be getting respect amongst the, the elites, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, they're really front runners on the system, which is quite a change up from the past.
Yeah. All right, next story is yours.
All right. The next story we have here is the eShop has finally done something we've all been waiting for and added search filters. With the categories of games and the amount that has just been piling into the eShop, I found myself, lazily browsing through a bunch of stuff that I don't care about to get to a couple games that I may be interested in picking up to play between the big titles. I think this will help a lot, so I can actually go in and search for shmup and filter on all those games, or filter on RPGs or action games, things like that, whatever I'm in the mood for. So
I think it's pretty cool that they added a price range filter as well. I mean, if you're just on there, you're like, maybe have like a $10 gift card, someone gave you for your birthday or something, and you just like, I want to blow this. I don't want to spend $20 on a game, or maybe I don't want to spend $60 on a game. You can send a price range on there and, look through the games like that and just see what, you can throw a few bucks at here or there. And, they had the games with demos for a little while, but I still think that's a great, addition. I like just being able to look for, some days I'm just bored and I just want to see what demos could I download just to try out something new.
Yeah, definitely.
Katamari, speaking of demos, Katamari announced they're getting a demo for the new Katamari Damacy reroll that's coming on December 7th, which will be pretty cool. I forget that there's a lot of people who haven't played this series or haven't played the original before, so getting a demo out there would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
and,
I've actually never played it, but it's been on my list for a while now, so I'll be happy to pick that up and at least give it a shot in the demo version.
Yeah, I want to try it on this control scheme here. And also just from Blizzard, they go back and forth a lot on this, and I don't want to get anyone's hopes up because I feel like every couple of months they flip-flop on this. It was just in a talk at BlizzCon last weekend. Jeff Kaplan, the Overwatch game director, mentioned that they're open-minded to bringing that game over to the Nintendo Switch, but they don't have anything to announce. But they've said this sort of thing before. They've said that, like, we've heard people say, "Oh, Hearthstone, yeah, I think we'd like to bring it to Switch," and then like a month later say, "No, we can't bring it to Switch." And I don't know if they keep changing back and forth. Someone will say that it's still an option. Someone will say we can't do it for X or Y reason. So I don't know. But I'll just, share that with you guys, and let's say we're half excited that this is a possibility.
Yeah, they'll set the announcement up and then surprise, Overwatch for iPhone.
Oh jeez, that would sting.
So yeah, another big announcement here is that there's going to be a Switch bundle on Black Friday that includes brand new shiny multicolored Joy-Con Switch, along with the Mario Party game, which would be a really good thing to take with you on your family outing for the holidays, I think.
I mean, everybody likes Mario Maker.
Mario Party. Was it Mario Maker or Mario Party? Did I say?
Oh, no, sorry. I'm getting confused by the pictures. Yeah, no, you're Mario Party. You're right. Everybody loves Mario Party. I actually finally got to play some of it with the group at my Switch Fest last week, and no, yeah, I can dig it. It's just, I'm a little too impatient, I think. I don't think I could play it on any of the longer settings. I think the shortest setting is fine, and it got me interested, and I was excited for it. But I definitely couldn't play that game on any of the longer gameplay lengths.
Gotcha, yep. I've always been interested in Mario Party, but I've never actually owned one. I always played at a friend's house for some reason.
You gotta have the thing. I don't think it's a game that I would enjoy. I don't think you would enjoy it either unless you had like a 4-person party to play with. So unless you find yourself in the situations like family gatherings where you would actually do that more often, you might not be too disappointed to not own it.
Maybe if I can find it for sale, I'll pick it up. My nieces are coming up, and it seems like something they could get into.
There you go. All right, that sounds good. Let's see. Down the pipe, a few games I thought were interesting that were announced or got some release dates. Battle Princess Madeline is coming December 6th. This has a cool, I want to say an Adventure Time art style to it in like the animations, but then it goes into a very Ghosts and Goblins kind of action game. And I've always loved Ghosts and Goblins in theory, but then I would play them and I'd hit like one of the brick walls or the annoying, like, you have to beat the game a certain way to get the true ending, and I just get really annoyed at it and think it was stupid and if they make that same kind of action in a game without the unfair challenges, just frustrations, I think this could be a pretty big hit with me. Monster Sanctuary coming 2020. This just hit its Switch goal on Kickstarter, and still a little whiles off, but I thought this was a pretty cool combination of concepts. This is both a Metroidvania with monster collecting, like Pokemon elements. So you're going to be going around like a 2D Metroidvania kind of world, exploring, grabbing power-ups. But the thing that you're going to be grabbing to, power up your character and gain access to new areas are monsters that you'll catch and recruit. And even though it's 2D action platforming, battles are still fought in like turn-based like RPG battles where the monsters that you have equipped show up next to you and then you engage the enemies. And so it's just got a lot of unique combination of things going here. I'm really intrigued by it.
Yeah, I actually followed the Kickstarter on this one, and I ended up not backing it. Kind of went back and forth on it a little bit, but the way that Kickstarters works, and if anybody's ever done one, you'll understand my pain with this, is they say 2020. What they really mean is 2025.
That's true.
So I'll be interested to see if this comes out, and I'll just buy it at full price at that point, I think, to give it a run.
That's true. That is very almost too true, probably, though a shame, because this is something that I kind of am excited to try now, but I'm better off forgetting it until I getting it. And sadly, Five Nights at Freddy's is officially confirmed to be coming to Switch. So,
do you not like Five Nights at Freddy's?
I like the story. I like the concept of the lore and the weird hidden, almost the augmented reality level gameplay just to figure out the stories, right? And the weird way people have to sort it out online and all the theories and stuff. That's fine. The games themselves, I think, are just dumb and not that. Like, I'm not a fan of the games themselves. Everything around it is interesting and dark and cool and collaborative. But, the games themselves are just, ugh.
See, I think I'll always have a place in my heart, because my oldest niece really got into Five Nights at Freddy's when it first came out, and it was something we could actually just talk about that nobody else in the family really understood, because none of my brothers or sisters really play games. So I think maybe that's why I like the idea, and if it came out on Switch, maybe I can throw it up and, give us a little jump scare the next time I see her.
I might have liked the first one when it first came out, and I was watching YouTubers, and there was like no real definite plot to it yet. Like, no one really knew what the whole backstory was, and it was really, kind of a mystery, and it still was new and a creepy idea. And then after, I think, like 7 total games, all doing the pretty much the same thing, I was just like, no, all right.
Yeah, 7.
You kind of pushed it.
7 games, 2 books, 3 side games.
Yeah.
All within like 6 months.
Yeah.
All right. So for our upcoming releases, on November 15th, we have Trailblazers, Super Hydora, Guess She's... Oh, why? Guess Shiju, Gajigaji, Nakama wo Sareteyu. I probably butchered that.
I know you did.
SNK Heroines, Tag Team Frenzy, Miss X, Hopiko, Solitaire Battle Royale, ACA Neo Geo, Stakes Winner 2, Mother Russia Bleeds, Tin Boy, Soap Dodgem?
I'm going to say it's Soap Dodgem.
Okay, Soap Dodgem, Mimpy Dreams, Rockets. Mace Space Shooter, Johnny Turbo's Arcade Heavy Barrel, and Arcade Archives Atomic Robo Kid. And on November 16th, of course, Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee and Pikachu.
Woot!
Sid Meier's Civilization 6. Ooh, I'm actually looking forward to that one. Circle of Sumo, Mars Chaos Menace, Toast Time Smash Up, Bendy and the Ink Machine, another one I'm looking forward to. Warframe, another one I'm looking forward to. Storm Boy the Game, Valkyria Chronicles 4, the two Valkyria, and ATV Drift and Tricks. I'm gonna watch that.
I'm actually, so I have a cutting plan. Don't tell my wife I'm secretly going to do this. And, I'm going to see if I can see. So we got the new computer, and one of the weird things that happened, when you get an upgraded OS, some really old games don't work anymore. And she's always been fond of Civilization 2. Okay. And that won't work on here now. And so it's almost like this computer was a downgrade in that she can't play like the one application she actually would use the computer for. I'm going to see if possibly Civ 6 can, fill that gaming need for her and see if she can get into it. But, when someone's really into an old one like that, they've played, that game you play, your comfort food game that you can go back to all the time, it's really hard to introduce an alternative to someone. But I'm going to try to put her in front of Civ 6 and see if that can,
I can
work.
one-up it. I just sent you a link on how to get it to run on the latest version of Windows.
Oh, okay. Well, I might try that as well. But, if I can get her on the Switch too, that's an extra bonus. I'll only tell her about that link after she hates Civ 6.
Okay.
But yeah, crazy Pokemon Let's Go coming out this week. So obviously that means next week's going to have a very big Pokemon themed episode. So I hope you all look forward to that one. But looking back, I'm very happy to have had you here, Ori, and thank you for showing up to fill in for JV for the week.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Yeah. And just remember, everybody, thanks for listening. And I guess until that next episode,
switch it up.
Thanks for listening. You can support the SwitchCast by visiting us at patreon.com/theswitchcast and join the review crew by rating us and subscribing on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Also check out our Discord chat where we have an enthusiastic bunch of Switch fans in a family-friendly environment. Also join our Facebook group for daily discussion and quite a bit of activity towards the Switch itself.
You can also contact us directly via email at kc@theswitchcast.com and jv@theswitchcast.com. Talk to us on Twitter @theswitchcast.
Thank you, HeatleyBros, for the theme music. And check us out on our website at theswitchcast.com, where we will post all relevant links and show notes.
Promotional considerations provided by publishers in the form of review copies of games.
You know what? Just use her. She does it way better than I do.
Les gens veulent tout le temps me parler, mais ils entendent juste Pika Pika. Vous l'entendez comme moi, vous l'entendez?
Pika Pika. Ouais, Pika Pika Pika, il est adorable.
Intento hablar con la peña y solo oyen Pika Pika. Lo habéis oído, ¿no?
Pika Pika. Sí, Pika Pika Pika, es una monada.